introduce our topic, Suzanne, and then we can like fold in how it's showing up for us.
Sure. So the topic today is all about the 50-16 key, which is about divine indulgence. And it's moving from the shadow state of distraction, squirrel, to the gift of enrichment, to the acidic state of intoxication, divine intoxication. And
right. Yeah, I think there's a lot more going on with distraction than just that. What we tend to think of is in the moment distraction.
Yeah.
But I have a bigger game of distraction that I play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. And it's called, what's on my phone? Oh, let me just review the notification. Look, what's that? It's called not staying in the present.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I will find myself like walking around in the kitchen, wanting to numb something. I think that's another form of distraction.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Or if I'm on the phone with somebody, back in the old days when I used to be on the phone a lot more than now is video chat, I would go outside in my garden and weed while I was talking to them. Now that could be that I need to have some kind of activity to go along with the listening capability or the better listening. However, I don't know if that's true. The more I'm learning about multitasking is that it's scattering our energy. It's not like,
right.
So I'm looking at how I do that. So now when I have a conversation with John, my partner, I really want to focus of sitting down and talking to him. No phones in our hands, no guitar, and he loves to talk to me. And
because
I'm like, yeah.
Because otherwise you're in multi-planes, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like, and like really getting so still and so present to that now moment. Yeah. Yeah.
So I notice how it's even harder for me now, I think, because I have so many fun ways to distract me. Oh, have I done the Wordle yet today? Oh, oh, a new email. Like I couldn't. And I know that in the past, I would set a chunk of time to do email responses twice a day. And I can do that with text responses but we have the text comes through, I have to respond immediatamente.
Like why? Who created that rule?
Society and culture. And I've talked with women who say that if they don't respond quickly to an email, that it's a problem for their team or their leadership or their culture in their company. And I think,
I know.
Why don't you teach them something different?
Right. And it's interesting because you realize, and when I used to have people that would report to me, I basically had to say, okay, if I had every single employee come in, I would never be able to get anything done. Like I had an open door policy. Yes, that was for sure true. But like if your brain, the way it works, that if you get into a zone, you only have, every time you're interrupted, it puts you 20 minutes that way.
Right.
So just saying, okay, even giving yourself blocks of time to do the emails or whatever, and leaving the rest open. So, I would say, hey, can you come back in 30?
I can give you my full attention if you let me complete this thing.
So I can complete my thoughts.
Yeah. And explaining to the person, or, and so anyway, I want to focus on how we distract. And how do we notice? This is my thing now that I'm starting to notice that, my phone is in my hand. Is there something else I can do? So what I'm doing more and more of is less phone. I put it across the room if I'm sitting to do something. and I turn on either classical music or, that ambient, megahertz, what do you call that music, that binaural beats and stuff that you can get on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I can just totally, it brings my brain into, I'm available and there's nothing else going on. I don't know. I don't know if it's just me or if it's gotten harder because there are so many distractions. So
Yeah, I definitely think there is. And I love the way Richard says, this is a quote from Gene Keys. If you're able to accept everything that happens to you, regardless of whether you enjoy it or not, you set up a surrender frequency pattern that allows you to move through life with great fluidity and beauty, and your life reflects it. I think it's when we don't, like, again, you said something about numbing. That's like the repressive nature, or the sullen nature. Is just too overwhelming. It's like, I don't want to feel anything. I'll just go someplace else, right?
Mm-hmm.
The interesting part is the moment you become distracted from what is actually really happening, you severely limit the outcome of events taking place in that present moment.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that when I connect with the divine, because that's what I wake up to, and I say, okay, I'm your instrument. Let's do this today. If I'm not staying present, I don't get the little breadcrumbs. And that's what I realize is that, and I play that game sometimes too, of like, oh, I'll get distracted. But if we're divinely directed, it's like, wait a sec, what, my mind's playing a little trick on me. So it's really funny to observe your own pattern and like stop it in its tracks and go, wait, all right, be open, vehicle.
Yeah.
So,
and to notice when I'm not. This is the key for me, because when I am, because we will do that in and out thing, right? Where we're in and we're focused and we're open, and then something happens and we constrict. And this is it's fun for me because I'm starting to play the game of, oh, what's going on? My shoulders are halfway up to my ears, or I can feel a tenseness in my hand, or, I'm starting to really notice when my body is telling me, which is before my mind.
Right.
Our bodies will tell us something's up. We're in resistance, we're in denial, we're in constriction, we're closing off. And then I get a chance to say, oh, I either can become aware that something's doing it, or I can just say soften, allow it. So I have a lot of little, what did I put down for my thing this morning? I have this new momentum screensaver thing that when you come in, it says, good morning, Deborah. What would you like to do today? Or what's your main intention for the day? And I put down today to be, I was going to say be in flow. And I was like, no, to be with and flow. Because being with is kind of like sitting with somebody, even when they're sick, or even when they're angry, or with a friend who's sad, whatever's going on, I can be with.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to change it or make it all nice.
Yeah. Can I just fix it for you? Yeah.
Put some icing on it. Yeah.
Or since many of us are coaches or teachers or mothers or whatever, in some way, lovers, and we want to, let me tell you what to do. Like, we want to coach. And the most loving thing is to just listen and let them be and be with.
Yeah, just show up. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is this? So the gift.
The gift is enrichment.
So that's an enriching activity.
It is.
To me, it's like a receptive. It's like I'm open to being enriched by this experience. I'm open to allowing the beauty of this moment.
Right. Yeah, it's a surrender. Fun. It's a definite surrender to all your senses and being super, super present and being with, as opposed to trying to change anything in that now moment.
Yeah. And in that moment, I just felt the air on my skin. I think those physical sensations, or sometimes hearing the birds outside or watching the light flicker in the trees between the leaves, I get so mesmerized that it's almost, oh, hello. It's like there's another conversation going on that I get to be a part of.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I just felt that, and I was like, hello, skin. Oh.
Yeah. It's like everything about your senses are heightened.
Yeah. Awakened,
Yeah.
because we dull that too. Ooh, enrichment. I'm liking that.
Yeah, enrichment is sucking the marrow out of life. It is acknowledging all of its beauty, even the ugly stuff. It's like, and I think that when I think about joy, even, there's joy in sadness because it's the totality of the whole experience.
Yeah.
I mean, that's rich.
I was on
It's
a
not
journey.
all one way, right?
Yeah, I was on a plant medicine journey at one time, and I was like, I'm here because I want to learn ecstasy. And I was in anything but ecstasy on that journey. It was not a pretty picture. And my beautiful, kind facilitator, in a loving way, said, there's ecstasy even in the pain and in the discomfort. And as soon as she said that, it was like all my kind of just went, oh, I can be with. So I ended up spending the whole rest of the night singing to the parts of me that were sore. I had a sore throat and some other things going on. It was so fascinating because I could be in ecstasy and the discomfort. And it was like, I thought it all had to be, moonlight and roses and shooting stars and orgasmic. Woo-hoo.
Well, that's pretty amazing, because then you really, that expansive nature of being all of it.
Yeah.
That's
how often do we close off to that, right?
Because it's sometimes, for many of us, it's just too much. It's like, that's why we either we constrict, or we dull, or we like medicate as opposed to meditate. It's like,
and when we were little, when we were smaller and we had some of those early traumas, it was what our hearts did to be safe.
Right.
And I get that. And yet now we keep asking for, can I grow? Can I expand? I want to be more. I want to, inhabit more of my divinity. Guess what?
The whole enchilada.
Oh, that's beautifully said. So tell me, I get really lost. I mean, intoxication to me sounds like it's taking me out of what is. I'm like, how do you go from enrichment, like being nourished by all of this beingness, to intoxication, which I know it's a spiritual, it's a Siddhi, it's a higher level state, but what is your thought on that? Or thoughts? You can have more than one.
It also is something Richard says. It's that you are disciplined by the divine state. Like, your thought is just enmeshed. It's like the embodiment of divine. It's you are being led and guided and distracted by the divine, and only the divine.
Whoa.
So that's where you live in the current of the divine.
Talk about flow. Okay. Okay. I mean, I have listened, I have read this, but sometimes when I hear other people explain I just hear it differently.
Right.
One of the things I have found in my personal experience is when I read a gene key out loud, there's something about the energetic messaging and coding that's in it that comes through my voice, and I get to embody, and I have not read this one out loud. And I think that's one of the ways I actually embody some of this wisdom. Thank you for that.
So this is about being addicted to the higher frequency of love. And it says,
higher. Okay.
Unlike the lower frequency manifestations of love, which are about chasing Cupid's infamous arrows in the current external world, the 56th Siddhi defines the source of the toxic self, your own superabundant heart, which is intoxication is about being swallowed up in your own love.
I love that. I've been there. I've experienced it. I wish it could happen more often.
And it says, such people are a reminder from source that life is for love, for beauty, and for fun.
Oh, now that third one, now you're going to lose me. There's something, I have a neuro linguistic programming thing about fun that just goes, well, that's for other people.
This is where we like shift into, not needing to know and like staying in that wonder space of the divine. Like when we think we know we have all the answers, that's when you really know that you don't have any, right? So
distraction. That's a whole mental mindset that can keep us like in some weird, distorted place.
Well, as soon as you say, yeah, I know that. Right? You go, oh yeah, you like discount it. All the wonder, the essence of magic just disappears.
Yeah. Have you seen the science on awe? The emotion of awe, AWE. They're actually showing how it lights up our brain, how it shifts the chemicals in our bodies when we experience awe. I mean, like psychiatrists and the University of California, Berkeley, and all of these places are saying, go on awe walks.
Yes.
Find awe in your everyday life. And I'm like,
wonder and awe.
I'm like, but this to me is like something, if I would have, when I was talking about this in leadership, to work with leaders about how you need to go outside and really fall in love with the universe, it'll shift your mindset and you'll be able to receive insight. And initially, not many people could hear that. They're like, first of all, I don't have time for a walk. Second of all, can I jog?
Well, that's the distraction. Like, I've got more important things. It's like, okay, let's bring it back. And people are finding more and more, the more clear they are. It's not about, we used to think about hours, right? And I think this is all coming down to timing, because people go, oh my gosh, I don't have enough time. I gotta race around. I gotta do so many things. If we're efficient in connecting, that's where the efficiency comes in. Like, energy efficiency at its maximum is just being in divine intoxication and getting messages like right from source.
Absolutely. Oh my God, I love that. And that is something that we are always looking for, time hacks, efficiency hacks. And we forget that, oh, wait a minute, I can get out of my own way and allow for some of that beautiful serendipity and synchronous, miracles, whatever, divine downloads, the ideal situations, people, events to happen, and I love that. And I forget. So this to me brings another example of why being in community with people that we can talk with, that hold us when we forget, how to support us in our stuff, and the being with versus being coached or told what to do or whatever, but just being seen, and that safe place to literally fall apart and then be like Humpty Dumpty and be put back together again, I think because that's how I tell this fairy tale, by the way, that he does get put back together. So if you were to add one of your magical little essences to this. I mean, I have an idea of a practice too, but I also wanted to talk to you about the card that you drew.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah.
where do you want to go next? And then I'll do my thing and then we'll close.
Well, when I pulled a card this morning, and it was the 9 of Michael. And it's this card that's specific about worry or anxiousness, and it talks about your worry is unnecessary. What you need to do is focus your thoughts and desires on the outcome that you want, and give the rest of the worry, release the feelings of guilt or fear or regret to your angels, and just allow it to disappear. That's where we get into our heads. It's very, Michael is very, this card is very airy. It's all about the mental gyrations that are going on in the head. And this week, I'm again taking a look from the energy almanac that I have. The gift in the shadow this week. This week, we need to be teeter-totterers that are poised, balanced between the extremes. Life is a constant back and forth between forces of expansion and contraction. And so the shadow enters when we expand too far, too fast beyond what is proportionate, or when we contract out of fear or worry. So this week's energy will test our ability to be conservative and face limits while also being open to the powers of expansion at the same time. So
that's fascinating.
Yeah. So the solution is to find harmony, balance, and equilibrium and equanimity. So again, I think this week I also sent out a post about being autonomy and in community or something like that.
Oh, collaborative. Yeah,
Collaborative.
autonomous collaborator or something like.
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
you be both?
Yes. Yeah.
And that's a beautiful way to look at the holding our energy, yet being open and available to co-create with others. Oh, love that.
Yeah.
And it's a both and, right?
Yeah.
I just wanted to add that I sent out a farewell newsletter too, because I'm not going to do those written old-fashioned emails anymore that don't fit me anymore in my style of who I am or who I am becoming. And I have gotten the most amazing responses from previous clients, from people I've known throughout the years. And it seems like everybody is in a very similar, like, like this. Yeah, we used to call it the turtle, right?
The turtle, right? Yeah,
out of the shell, go back in. And so how do we relax? Like for me, I feel my shoulders immediately going. And so it's an opportunity for us to notice, what does anxiety, fear do in our bodies when our body starts telling a story that isn't true anymore? Noticing what our somatic reaction is. Because for me, the quick one, and it was always easy to see on Zoom, is I could see my shoulders.
Right.
But another one that I've gotten really aware of is when I start getting tight in here.
Okay. I have an exercise for that.
Yeah. And so this also has to do with my work in the world of helping women express their truth, right? So I know that it has a lot to do with me expressing my truth.
And doing that helps. And like allowing your jaw to open and like massaging your jaw and opening it, even like tapping the sensations of your whole face. Just kind of making the blood come to the surface of your whole face so that you actually feel your face.
Yeah.
That helps a lot too.
Thank you.
But even massaging that part, because you're needing to release.
Right.
You even do exercises, I won't do toning exercises today, but just even smiling and.
Yeah. And what I do is I tend to breathe. I tend to notice, oh, let's send some breath there. And there was a quote that I had in my newsletter that was from Elizabeth Gilbert in her Big Magic book about creativity. She talks about fear. And she says, we don't get rid of fear. Fear is along for the ride for the rest of our lives, and especially shows up when we're doing something that's creative or new. So as we create and co-create and collaborate to innovate, right? What's coming, what's emerging at this time, we get to embrace our fear. And you can't do the go away, shush, like, the loud puppy, you can't just go get in your crate. That's not what we're doing. You're like, okay, you're along for the ride, but you know what? I'm going to put a mute on you so that I don't really have to listen to you. And you don't get to take over and drive the car. You're along for the ride, but you don't get to give me directions. I'm going to give the GPS thing to my other side.
Well,
and
yeah, that's where we're getting out of the intellect and recognizing, I think a little bit ties in with last week, the intellect and not thinking of your brain as the operating system. It's there to just send you signals and reminders and make your body, allow to send signals to your body. But, your divine direct connect is your source of inspiration.
Down and in. And so as soon as I drop my breath down, it's my whole body softens. It's so fun. So when I start noticing this, first of all, I say, hello.
Hi.
Appreciate the reminder. I'm doing it again, aren't I? Okay. And it's so fantastic. So thank you for that. I noticed I intuitively do this, but I didn't realize about, yeah. Thank you, darling. This is why I need you in my life. So any other final words? I think we need to just kind of post a couple more quotes and stuff in the post underneath this. But if anybody has any questions or comments, we would love to hear from you. Okay. Till our next time. Peace.